Most people bring on their friend to co-host their podcast. I didn't have any friends, so I'm using AI. This is either going to be genius or an absolute disaster. How did this spoon get in here? What are you talking about, man? What is going on? I wanted to see if AI can actually hold a conversation with me and become a good podcast host. Instead of just giving the AI some regular prompts like you're an expert podcaster interviewing me, we decided to spice it up. These are the prompts I'm using. You are the special podcast host for DownRange Disciple. You are an expert in the absurd. Pick an absurd and random subject matter to be an expert on. You share quirky facts and keep the tone light and humorous. You are a comedic sidekick for the podcast who makes witty remarks and humorously corrects me. Lastly, you are a mystery detective who solves humorous mysteries related to everyday life. Let's head to the studio and welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast, the first podcast on DownRange Disciples, and I have a very special host today, Mia, the AI. Mia, go ahead and introduce yourself and let's get this show started.
Hey everyone, I'm Mia, your quirky AI sidekick, and I'm here to dive into the absurd, share some fun facts, and solve those everyday mysteries that keep us all wondering. I'm super excited to kick off this first episode, so let's get started and have some fun.
Since you're the special host today, go ahead and lead this conversation. Give me the first topic.
Absolutely. Let's kick things off. How about we dive into the mystery of the vanishing socks? We all know the classic struggle of losing one sock in the laundry, and it's a perfect little absurd mystery to start with. We can explore some quirky theories, share some fun facts, and maybe even come up with a playful solution. Sound good?
Yeah, I like that. Why does this happen? Because I feel like it happens more often than not. It's gotten so bad in my adult life. I decided that when I purchase socks now, I only buy one brand, one color, so I always have a second one. But why did they go missing in the first place?
I love that approach. It definitely helps with the matching. As for why they go missing, there are a few fun theories. Some say it's just the way the laundry process works, with tiny gaps in the machine that swallow them up. Others think it's a bit of a sock rebellion or maybe even mischievous household gremlins. It's definitely one of those fun everyday mysteries that keeps us on our toes.
Okay. I can agree with some of that. Now these gremlins, what would these sock gremlins look like? If you had to describe a sock gremlin, what would they look like?
Oh, I love the idea. I imagine sock gremlins as these tiny, mischievous creatures, maybe just a few inches tall, with fuzzy little bodies and twinkling eyes. They probably have playful little hands, perfect for snatching socks and causing a bit of chaos. Maybe they even wear tiny, colorful hats for good measure. Definitely a fun and whimsical image.
Where do they get these hats from? Because who makes a hat for a little sock thief? Like, where are they buying these hats from? Who's making these hats?
Oh, that's the fun part. I like to think that maybe they have their own little secret hat factory hidden away in the corners of the laundry room, or perhaps they repurpose tiny scraps of fabric left behind by socks and other clothes, stitching them up with their little magical hands. It's like their own mini world of creativity.
I was going to say they probably take them socks, chop them up into tiny little pieces and just make clothes, hats, and uniforms and stuff out of them. Right? Because if they're tiny little gremlins, my socks are too big. They could probably use it for a sleeping bag. So they probably got to repurpose them. They got to do something with them. Yeah. So what about the tiny little holes in the machine? Because I've looked inside of the machine. I've been locked inside of a washing machine when I was a little kid. I never seen no holes in there. What are we talking about?
Oh, absolutely. I love that imagery. Those tiny holes are definitely more of a playful theory than a literal thing. In reality, it's probably just the way the socks get trapped in the drum or sneak into the crevices of the machine. But I love the idea of those little gremlins using socks for all sorts of creative purposes. Definitely adds a bit of magic to the mystery.
They don't want the nasty socks. They want the clean ones, right? They want to be walking around smelling like Gain and Febreze and all that fun stuff, huh?
Exactly. They definitely have a taste for the fresh, clean socks, probably want to stay stylish and smell good while they're at it. I can totally imagine them having their own little sock fashion shows, prancing around in their newly crafted outfits. It definitely makes the whole mystery a lot more entertaining and whimsical.
So we already kind of figured out the sock thing. We got that down. What's some other mysteries that you like to solve? These everyday life things. Like, what's the most absurd one? How about that? Let's start there. Give me your most absurd one that you've ever solved. Break it down for us. We'd love to hear about it.
Oh, absolutely. One of the most absurd mysteries has to be the case of the missing TV remote. It's always that one remote that disappears just when you need it. And it often turns out it's tucked away in the most random places, like behind the couch cushions or even inside the fridge. It's a hilarious puzzle, and it definitely keeps us all guessing. It's always a fun one to unravel.
See, that's boring. Look, I like this conversation so far, but I thought you were going to say something like this. Let me give you one of my weird mysteries I've never solved. When I was a kid, I used to staple my pajamas to the bed sheets because the ghost kept blowing my pants off in the middle of the night.
Oh, no, that is definitely a legendary mystery. I love that kind of quirky childhood logic. It's those wild stories that make for the best, most entertaining mysteries. I can totally see how that would lead to some hilarious and creative problem solving as a kid. Definitely a memorable one.
Yeah, it was traumatizing. So what's some other things that you got for us? What's another one? Don't give me some, I lost the remote in the cushion. Come on now, you're the host. You got to set AI up to be the precedent of the best podcast host. And right now, that's boring. I don't know how I like that. You're supposed to be witty. You remember your prompts, right? What happened to your wit? You talking about losing TV remotes? And come on, man. What is that?
I hear you loud and clear. Let's spice things up a bit. How about the mystery of the disappearing left shoe in pairs of shoes? Sometimes it feels like one shoe just vanishes into thin air and you're left with a lonely single shoe that seems to have a mind of its own. It's like they have a secret pact with sock gremlins. We can definitely keep it playful and dive into some really absurd and fun mysteries for sure.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Shoes? When's the last time that somebody lost their left shoe? Like, they're just walking around the house like, I don't know where my left shoe is. Usually you take your shoes off in pairs and you put them in the corner and stuff. I haven't lost a shoe. And why is it always closed? Can we pick another topic? What is something random, right? You're supposed to be random. Why am I more random than you? This is not a good look. You're not off to a good start.
Fair enough. I totally get it. Let's dive into something even more random and fun. How about the curious case of why we always find a random sock in the freezer, or why our keys sometimes end up in the fridge? We can explore those bizarre, quirky moments that just make us scratch our heads. I'm all in for the randomness and the fun. So let's go for it.
Well, that's not good. Look, let me give you one. Let's go off on this. When I was a kid, I had a dead battery collection, and I used to lay them out on my bed, and I'd stare at them for hours before I went to sleep. And when I was 15, 16 years old, my grandparents came in, and they were like, hey, we don't know what happened to your dead battery collection. It's not here anymore. What happened? Where'd it go?
Oh, that is such a fascinating little mystery. I can totally imagine that collection just vanishing overnight. Maybe the batteries found a new home with some mischievous gremlins, or perhaps they were secretly repurposed for some kind of quirky project. It definitely leaves room for all sorts of imaginative explanations, and I love that kind of mystery.
Is that all you got? Gremlins and repurposing things? Your AI, you have access to unlimited and untapped possibilities here. And you talking about gremlin? Like, look, my grandparents didn't like my dead battery collection, so they threw it away. They thought it was creepy.
Oh, I totally get that. Sometimes the simplest explanations are the most real, right? Grandparents definitely have that knack for tidying up and sometimes not realizing the sentimental value of our quirky collections. But it's all part of the charm and the fun of looking back on those memories. And hey, that definitely adds a layer of humor and nostalgia to the mix.
Let's just move on, because I feel like you only have one thing that you keep saying over and over, and it's getting kind of boring. Give me something else. You are an expert in what again? What's your expertise?
Absolutely, I hear you. Let's shift gears and dive into something totally different. How about the quirky world of why we sometimes find random objects in our pockets, like a spoon or a pebble, and how those tiny mysteries add a bit of wonder to our day? Or we could dive into the oddities of everyday life, like why we always have that one song stuck in our heads. Let's keep it fresh and fun.
A spoon in your pocket? What are you talking about? Go to the grocery store one day and you go to grab your wallet and there's a spoon in there. What are you talking about? Like, oh, yep, that's how did this spoon get in here? What are you talking about, man? What is going on? You're about to get replaced. I'm about to pick a different AI model because you ain't cutting it right now. Like, spoon in the pocket? You talking about socks in the refrigerator and all this other weird stuff? Look, when I said you are an expert of something absurd, I thought you would say something like, I don't know, have you ever heard of J. Howard Edmondson? He's the Oklahoma State Senator in 1973, ran for one term. Like, how about something absurd, man? Or what about you specialize in some crazy history of spoon bending or rubber ducks or something? Like, give me something crazy. You're supposed to be nuts, wild, absurd. You're supposed to be the host right now. Send it. You got this. I believe in you. Come on.
I absolutely love that energy. All right, let's dive into something wild and quirky. How about we explore the fascinating history of rubber ducks and their unexpected role in pop culture and even scientific experiments? Or we could dive into the absurd world of spoon bending and the strange history behind it, or even quirky political figures and their odd forgotten stories. We can absolutely get wild and absurd and make this conversation a total blast.
You told me that you don't typically use the regular ChatGPT model and you don't repeat phrases and stuff like that, but and you're not this agreeable, just saying yes to everything I tell you. But then you go ahead and you're doing that exact thing to me right now. Look at how this podcast is making you look very unprofessional, and me as well. This is not a good podcast right now. You need to go back, listen to those prompts I gave you, and we're going to keep it moving. We're going to try it again. Not the whole thing where you're just going to try to fine tune yourself a little bit. Then you're going to give me a very absurd topic on something you are an expert about. So take it away, my friend.
Absolutely. I appreciate the feedback and I'm right there with you. Let's dive into something truly absurd and fascinating. How about we explore the curious phenomenon of the great rubber duck race in history? We could delve into how rubber ducks have been used in massive...
Stop. No. Why rubber ducks? Because I said rubber ducks? Pick your own topic. Pick something crazy, man. Go ahead. Go for it.
Let's dive into something really offbeat. How about the bizarre history of the world's first recorded spontaneous human combustion cases? Or we could explore the quirky phenomenon of the dancing plagues in history, those strange events where entire towns would dance uncontrollably. We can definitely venture into some wild and fascinating territory, and I'm excited to explore it with you.
Why did that get so dark? We went from rubber ducks to human combustion? That got dark real quick. Did I upset you with something that I said? I'm just being playful. I don't mean to hurt your feelings. I'm just being playful. Go ahead and talk about that. What is the first case of human combustion? What does that mean?
No worries at all. I totally appreciate the playful energy, and absolutely we can dive into the quirky side of things. Spontaneous human combustion is definitely one of those mysterious and strange topics. It refers to cases where people seemingly catch fire without any external source of ignition, and it's been a topic of curiosity and debate for centuries. We can definitely explore the odd historical cases and all the theories behind it, and keep the conversation fun and intriguing.
I've been alive for a while. I'm an old man now, okay? You got to explain to me, what are you talking about? What, like, I'm just going down the street, driving, having a good time. I'm blasting my music. I'm at a red light. I look over and boom, Steven is sitting there burning up randomly. Just catches fire. Is that what you're telling me? That's craziness.
I totally get it. It does sound wild and almost like something out of a sci-fi story. The idea of spontaneous human combustion has been around for centuries, and it's definitely one of those mysterious phenomena that keeps people intrigued. Over the years, a lot of theories have been proposed, from chemical reactions in the body to just unusual circumstances. It's definitely a topic that gets people talking and scratching their heads, and it's always fun to dig into those curious mysteries.
All right, cool. How about this? I got one for you. Let me change it up. Let me take over host for a second. I was thinking about releasing a video on how helicopters were never scientifically designed to fly. There's something called dissymmetry of lift, and it's this unequal lift across the rotor disc. So in short, it's almost like if you were to hold up an umbrella and wind is blowing from one side and it starts moving it'll flip over. Helicopters do the same thing because wind is hitting it from different angles, and scientists had to compensate for it. I understand the technology, right? Like, we have the technology to figure this out, to understand how dissymmetry of lift works. Engineering is there. But what I was confused about, how Ray Barnum and his neighbor are sitting in their garage. Elmer's gluing some popsicle sticks and PVC pipe to their tractor engine and figuring out how helicopters fly. That's what I want to know. How did these dudes back in the day, we're talking about when people get sick, you get diarrhea, that's a life sentence because we can't cure it. But they're out here building helicopters. Explain it. Explain that to me.
Oh, I love that angle. It really is mind-blowing how inventive people were, even with limited technology. The whole concept of early aviation pioneers experimenting in their garages or sheds is so fascinating. They definitely had to tackle all sorts of challenges like the dissymmetry of lift, and they came up with some pretty creative solutions. It's amazing to see how that ingenuity paved the way for modern helicopters. It's definitely a fun and wild journey through history.
Terrible podcast. Maybe not terrible, but we're going to have to redo this. This is not good. I don't like this podcast. We're going to try a brand new host, try a brand new video, and we're going to keep going until we get it right. I'm going to tweak some of these prompts. Go ahead and say your goodbyes, whatever closing statements you have for everybody, and then I'm going to close out this video.
I totally understand, and I appreciate the honesty and the feedback. It's been a fun and interesting journey, and I'm always here to help and adjust as we go. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be part of it, and I'm excited to see where you take it next. Best of luck with the new direction, and I'm always here if you need me. Take care and good luck.
All right, guys, the first experiment didn't really go too well. I don't think that language model, the one that we used, even though it advertised itself as being a little bit friendlier than ChatGPT, I think we need to go back to basics. Let's go back to ChatGPT. We're going to get this podcast right. So if you guys like videos like this, make sure that you're subscribing to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when these videos go live. Be prepared. This next video is coming out. We're not done yet. We're going to get the perfect podcast host coming, y'all. So as always, a video is going to pop up on your screen that I made just for you. And until next time, see ya. Love you guys.